This conference will now be recorded.
See, Brooke, you were slow on the job.
What
I'm
did
glad
I do? What I do this
I
time?
made you record the session. You didn't tell me to record the session.
I
No, behind Brooke.
all right. You could blame me this time.
God,
Yeah,
this
it was
time
me.
I'll blame Miriam next time. Okay,
All
so
right.
you supposed to learn how to prepare an income statement, revenues, less cost of goods sold, gross profit, less operating expenses. You're supposed to learn how to do that. Statement retained earnings, beginning retained earnings, less add net income, less dividends in the retained earnings, and a balance sheet. And finally, a statement of cash flow. So can everybody do that? Can everybody prepare those four financial statements? Or is there anybody who can't prepare those financial statements? Raise your hand if you cannot prepare those financial statements. Well, we're gonna have to review then. I just go and get a quiz next time and we'll be
No,
more
Dr.
together.
Boy, I do
Whoa,
have a
whoa,
question though.
whoa. Come on,
From
Miss Brooke. Jeez.
our final last time, I want to go over that. Just the beginning retained earnings. Um, I think I'm a little confused still, like how to get that, like the
Okay.
beginning retained earnings.
Well, that beginning retained earnings is calculated the difference between all of the accounts with debit balances and all the accounts with credit balances. So you have the accounts listed, you say debits, add them all up, credits, and the difference is the retained earnings. And sometime I was typically having the credits exceed the debits, so retained earnings at a beginning debit balance.
So when we
So
have all our beginning, when you have when we have like the it says our beginning, we're like what is it, debits and credits. All I gotta do
right,
is just like take it away from each other, and that's
yeah,
gonna be my beginning.
and the difference will be your retained earnings. But if the credits exceed the debits, then that means that to balance out, you need a debit and retained earnings.
You said I need a debit and retain earnings.
Yeah. So look at that and
Okay,
see. We'll look at that. We'll look at it next time.
yeah, I need to see that. Thank you.
Okay. So these are the steps in the accounting cycle. We analyze transactions, we make journal entries, we post to the ledger, prepare a preliminary trial balance. We typically didn't do that. Made adjusting entries, which are just journal entries, prepare the trial balance. Then once we had a trial balance, we said we could do what? Prepare financial statements. Then we prepared closing entries, then a post-closing trial balance. We didn't talk about it that much, but that's just the balances in the accounts after you closed out all other, temporary accounts to make sure you got no errors. And it's just typically the balance sheet items. So everybody in here should have learned this process in financial accounting, and managerial accounting assumes that you know how to do this. And we had these journal entries, and what happens? Uh, Assets have debit balance. I hope you know that. Contra assets, credit balances, liabilities, credit, common stock, credit, retained earnings, credit if the company is profitable, debit if it's not, revenues, credit, expenses, debit. So you should be familiar with that. And then we had our transaction types. And we said if cash came into the business, there were six types of transaction, and cash was always debited, and these other accounts were credited. If cash was paid out, we said we went from 7 to 11A, and in those cases, we debited something and credited cash. So that's the big thing that we work with. Did cash come in? It had to be a type 1 through 6, and we're telling you what to debit and what to credit. If cash was paid out, you credit cash and then you debited something. Then we had asset transactions other than cash and some liability transactions. And so when we got to the first step, what? To make journal entries, we said you had to do what? Analyze a transaction and determine what type of journal entry it is. And that would tell you what you're going to debit and what you're going to credit. Can everybody in here make a journal entry? Okay, well, we'll see. Then once you made the journal entries, you had to have accounts. And you had to get something off of this chart of accounts that had a number by it. It wasn't expenses paid, it wasn't asset purchased. You got to put it in a particular account. So when you make a journal entry, you debiting one account and crediting the other, and you got an account number that you're using. You got to use one of those account numbers. Had an illustrated problem. Then we had the ledger where you would post if an item was a debit in the journal entry, it was a debit in the ledger. If it was a credit in the journal entry, it was a credit. So that was our next step. Then we prepared the trial balance. Then we prepare our little income statement. This is a simpler one. Our statement of retained earnings, simpler one. Then our balance sheet, and it can look various ways, but to make sure that you didn't have too much problems, what did I do? I created you a spreadsheet, and I think this should be in course content. So when you are submitting uh, that financial review problem, it's done on the spreadsheet. In the first sheet are the journal entries. The second sheet are the T accounts. And the two sets of T accounts, the permanent ones and the temporary ones. The permanent ones are the balance sheet accounts. The temporary ones are dividends and the expense accounts. That's sheet 2. So once you post it and you got the balances in these accounts, you prepare what? A trial balance. And then once we had our trial balance, we could what? Get to the bottom, pull in our and make our income statement, then do our statement of retained earnings, and finally do our balance sheet. We also would do what? Make closing entries. All of the entries from dividends on down are closed out, and they're because they're temporary accounts, we close them out each year. And so we close out the revenue, the expenses, the net income, that's closing entry 3, and then the retained earnings, and we post those closing entries. Then we had the statement of cash flow we did. So and then we would, when we made journal entries, we would do what? We would say where it went on the statement of cash flow. But what journal entries are going to be on the statement of cash flow when we looked at the types? Which ones? And which ones we scratch? Which ones are we not going to scratch?
Isn't it 12 and up?
We scratched 12 and up.
Okay.
So all of this is here in terms of the statement of cash flow. And then we have the what? Inventory flow chart. Somebody talk about inventories. So when we have inventories, we put them on this flow chart so we can get our purchases and what our balance is and what's our cost of goods sold. So continuing students, your problem is already in course content, and you're going to have that problem ready by 11 o'clock. And then you're going to work this problem out and show my new student how you learn how to work these problems out. Of course, that's your first 10 homework points. Continuing students, new students, you're up on Tuesday. So once you look at what they did, then you up on Tuesday to present your problem, submit it by 11 o'clock. That's 7 of your points. Then I'll call on individuals to make the journal entries, and we will work that also. So everybody knows how to do this. If you don't, if you can't do that, then then it's problematic as we go through the course. And so that's why I delay starting managerial accounting, because it assumes you can do that. We're going to add some more journal entries and some more types of accounts to what we have, but we're assuming that you can do that. Are there any questions?
Mr. Boyd, there are two. So there's a review problem 1 and a review problem 4. Which one are we doing? Or do we just choose?
Yeah, the continuing students are choosing to do number 1. Okay. The continuing students are choosing to do number 1. So the new students are going to look at how y'all work. And then they're going to come in, and with all that knowledge you all give to them, they're going to work their problem on Tuesday. So are there any questions? So if you're a continuing student and you have some problems, you can wait to Tuesday. So if you want to wait, you can wait to Tuesday. That is, if you didn't make an A or a B, then you can wait to Tuesday and get reviewed up. But my A students, my B students, they got to have their stuff done on Thursday. Right, Lathan? Okay. Anything for the good of the cause today?
Yes, I have a question.
Yes.
For clarification, we need both books. We need the primer and the
Primer should be sufficient, and
Okay.
hope somebody in your group would be able to get the other one. I have it because they can get it cheap. But the
Okay.
primer is the primary book that you'll need.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Professor Boyd, is Kayla still doing tutorials this semester?
Beg pardon?
Is Kayla still doing tutorials for this semester?
Kayla is actually, I think, has internships. So we'll have to look at, who the university sets up, and I'll try to work with some of my former students to see who might be available. But for what we're doing now, review, somebody on the screen now should be able to help. And of course, you should get your teams created. And with your teams created, you can work together in your team to get it done and get questions answered and everything. So the assumption is that the continuing students will go and get this done, and then they will help the new students who are on their team get it done for Tuesday. people here should be able to work with that now. But I will, work and look at that. So I think we're going to have an interesting semester. I hope you all are excited. I am. And you're learning some new things and some different things. A lot of this will be, I'll put as, especially as we're going through early now, I will put a lot of this, make a lot of your grade based on the teamwork. So we aren't examining quite as much as we are working on team items because, uh, in terms of being ready for the work world, you gotta be ready to work, not take exams. Okay, so the projects and special things that we're doing utilizing Excel, so everything should be submitted in Excel. You're getting tools, so you're going to be able to work virtually, in the workplace. Any other questions by anyone? So we're finishing a few minutes early today, but typically when we're going virtually, I finish a few minutes late. So typically we'll be going 11 to 12:30 when we're meeting virtually because we got to get through those problems next time, answer questions. So you should be planning to go to 12:30, realizing that that's office hours time where I'm able to talk to everybody and get this done. But if you don't get this done, then as we move through, it's very difficult. So make sure my teams are formed. You all get your strategy together and have my teams formed with 4 people on each team, typically 2 continuing students in general. The team leaders are listed so you know who you are as a team leader and what the expectations are. And of course, I got great expectation on my A student that you're gonna, take the lead in making sure that the course is successful for everyone. That's why we're in teams. I'm lecturing. That's the preliminary learn the information. Then your team gets together, watch the videos of the class, I think the information in there. And so you discuss it and you discuss what we covered and you discuss what you got to do. That is my expectation for you as your team. And you get clear on what you got to do. Because on next Thursday, what is supposed to happen on next Thursday?
Is it a quiz?
You have a fraudulent company presentation.
Mm.
So if you go to that fraud, you go to statement of cash flow, you'll see each team already has its fraudulent company assigned. And what my requirement is that there are 4 things that you're doing, and everybody on the team is doing one of those things. And if a person doesn't do it, then you need to be letting me know right away. Because when the workload gets heavy down the road, and if you haven't managed your team well and got everybody working, so it's your job to teach people how to work. If you don't do that, and then they say, then they try to slack at the end, then you have to do their work. And it's a whole lot more work than just that little statement of cash flow. So we're starting now with a simple thing for you to do together. Okay, so you all have been getting, kind of quiet, but uh, you all will be talking next time. So remember, I'll be calling on a continuing student for the first journal entry next time. and they missed that first, if y'all missed that first journal entry, that's a -5. So the first journal entry is missed. I'm gonna take off 5 points from y'all. So whoever I call on, when they make that first journal entry, they don't get that one right. That's a -5. Otherwise, a -1 every time you miss something. And that's going through everything, all the way through the statement of cash flow. I'm taking off a point every time you miss something. So y'all just got to get it right.
How many points we got, Mr. Boyd?
You got 10 points.
Bro.
And then you have, when we get to the statement of cash flow indirect method, you have another 10-point homework, but that's a team homework. And what you're going to find is that every team is doing something different. So, I got those teams 1 to 10, and you're going to see 10 items. So you can kind of already know what you got to do throughout this course. If you team 5, everything with a 5 on it, that's what you're doing when we get the homework. If you team 9, everything with a 9 on it, that's what you're doing. And of course, we go from 1, the easy, to 10, the hard. You'll have that progression in terms of difficulty. Anything else for the good of the cause?
Okay, just to make sure. So this upcoming Thursday, we're doing the review problems, or
You're
because
doing
you
review
said
problem 1. My continuing A and B students are doing review problem 1. You got
okay,
to
and
have
that is
it
due
in Blackboard by
mhm.
11 o'clock
Today.
Thursday.
Okay, that's what I was asking. I was trying to make sure.
Then you're going to present that review problem to the new students and show them how it's done on the Excel spreadsheet.
Okay.
So you only got some of your points on what you submit, uh, you know, in Blackboard. Then the rest of your points are going to be based on how you all present to the class that day. And I am recording 1 grade for everybody. I'll let you know there's only going to be 1 grade. So we do a lot more team and class things here. So the team has to win. And I know you all going to win next time. Y'all going to knock it out. Won't be more than one thing wrong at the most. One at the most. Okay. Anything else for the good of the cause?
I need to speak with you after class, though.
Okay. So I'm always available, for virtual office hours or virtual meetings and everything, especially before class and after class. I'll try to be on, you know, before class typically, especially when we got assignments in case there are questions. Like next Tuesday, I'll be on, you know, hopefully in half an hour before class start. So if the new students have any questions, we can clarify those up, and I'm available after class. Okay, so that's it. We will see you all on Thursday. Have a good one.
Thank you, Professor Boyd. You have a good one.
All right, Mr. Boyd.
Okay?
Bye, Mr. Boyd.
Uh,
Also, real quick, Mr. Boyd, did you get a one of the girls were having an issue logging on? She like tried to log on by like 3 different devices, but she still couldn't get on. She says she sent the email to you as well. But I just wanted to let you know that we tried to get her on, but we're still trying to figure out what's going on.
so you put her on your team so you can make sure so that's a good person
Okay,
to put
cool.
on your team so you can catch up
Uh-huh.
on what we covered. So we didn't really, we didn't overly cover things. We just sort of showed what we're doing. Uh,
Mhm.
she needs to review those 2 handouts,
Mhm.
uh, theoretical framework and the accounting cycle. So and that's for anyone that needs to do that. Then they need to be
Mhm.
able to pay attention next time. So we need to, work to see and I'll look at the email. And what I asked people to do was to practice 15 minutes early getting on and email me. So if they wait to class start, then I'm looking at this and not looking at my emails. So what I would do would be to, you know, I'll put that note in there and have people begin to work at it 15 minutes early.
Got it. Okay, and then for her, you want her to review problem 4 as well, or do problem 1?
She just has, yeah, she just has problem 4, assuming it's not a continuing student.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Boyd. We'll see you
Okay,
Thursday.
Uh,
okay,
I have a
yes,
question.
okay.
Actually, I want to know which assignment is due for new students because, like, I'm confused.
You just look at the problem 1 that will be worked on Thursday. And then you're going to do the same thing with problem 4, which is a simpler problem for next Tuesday. So it's in course content. So you're familiar with Blackboard, right?
Sorry.
You're familiar with Blackboard?
I don't know.
So Brooke, Kiana, you all get her on y'all team so y'all can get her ready. So one of them will have you on their team, and they will explain things to you. That's part of what the team is doing.
Okay. So, how I will know कि like which one is my team leaders or
They're gonna let you know. We'll send out we'll put it in Blackboard. We'll put the full teams in there when they get it to me. So it'll be in
okay.
Blackboard what team you're on, and then they will alert you that you know that you're on their team. Okay, so they'll let you know. Get her in the.
Okay.
You'll have a group meet that you all gonna have for the course. So they have a group
Yeah,
meet.
somebody already made one. So
Okay, so got it. So make sure you're in the group meet, and they'll send it to you. The
somebody should
team.
Uh,
have sent it to your email already. I think it was Miriam.
Okay, so they
Just
will.
check your school email.
Yeah. So check your school email.
okay.
So you'll be okay. I know we covered a lot and everything, but first day you'll be okay. And you have half the half the students didn't have me last time, so they're learning my style also. The others they had to put up with me all last semester, the whole semester. So you got so you got kind of a break. Did you understand the things that we were working on today? Did you understand any of the things? Was it Usher?
Oh, yes, sir. I understand.
You understood her? Okay, well you okay then. Did you make did you make an A or a B in Principles One?
Sorry.
What was your grade in Principles One?
I don't know.
I
I
can
mean, I
look it
don't
up.
understand what you said.
What
Like
grade did
I'm
you
a,
make in Accounting One? What grade did you make in Accounting One?
accounting one. It's B.
Okay,
Yeah.
so all right, so you're a big student, so you should be able to pick this up.
Okay.
Okay,
Mr.
so
Scott, I think, has a question.
Mr. Scott,
Hello, can you hear me?
yes, I can hear you.
All right, so I've been having like technical difficulties throughout the whole class period. So I've been hearing about like half of what you said. So I just wanted to let you know before I get out of class. I sent you an email,
Okay,
but I'm a new student. I just have trouble like understanding like what I'm supposed to do.
we will be going over it, and then you'll be on a team, and your team leader will be explaining it to you also.
Okay,
But you
so for
you don't have anything due on Thursday,
okay. So I just basically sit back and wait till a team member picks me.
right? Or you can they may interview you. You know, want to know. So you can request to be on. These two people who are still on here, Brooke and Kiana, would be good teams to be on. So I will tell you that. But you got to be a good team member. Kiana, you still on?
Yeah, we just got questioned about
Yes, I
the
am.
team.
Okay.
How you want us to set it up? Like,
I just want you to
how do
fill
you
out the.
want that?
I just want you to fill out the bottom of that spreadsheet. So you got the spreadsheet. You see the spreadsheet, right?
Yeah, of course.
So do we do that ourselves, or is it like each individual team leader picking, or how?
Well, you tell the team leaders to pick people, and it's the first come first serve on who they pick.
Oh, okay.
Do you want them to interview before they pick, or how do you want that? I know you want it by Thursday.
I want it by Thursday,
Okay.
and so we
Okay.
probably we'll probably have the teams meet on Thursday in their breakout room. So it's just most of the students did fairly well in principles A or B, whether I had them or not, and so it's a matter of explaining and then making the team members work. So everybody got the ability, but you had about 8 or 9 people who were absent. So go on and form the teams from the people who were here.
Yeah, can we get the list, the
I'll send that to
Mhm.
you.
attendance list?
I'll send that to you.
Okay.
And then you just tell those team leaders, hey, pick people you want to be on their team, and tell them it's first phone come first serve.
Okay.
But 4 people to a group.
4
So
people.
one, and then 2 new people, and an existing, the current student, like the.
That's what I would like to see. Now for
Okay.
team one, that's a new student who's a very good student based on the transcript, 3.8 or 3.9, but I didn't teach them. So you want to put on their team a continuing student who's pretty good,
Okay.
Okay.
a team leader. So that's one. So we'll look at them, and then we'll see if we need to make any adjustments.
Okay. That's not bad.
And if you all need to tutor people, principals one, go ahead and tutor them, since they might impact your grade next time. And don't be sending them no spreadsheets either,
I
because
don't send people my stuff, Dr. Boyd.
Nah. Never.
they may ask, don't send it because it's gonna catch up with y'all later. But
But
see,
then they're
eventually,
not gonna know how to do the work in our
yeah, on
team.
the
That
project,
won't benefit me.
everybody got to do a major set of work, like like that. Remember that journal entry study problem at midterm y'all did? Well, everybody has to do
Mhm.
about that amount of work. And so if your people don't know how to work, then you're gonna have to do 2 of those to get your A on the project. So you need to get your people. Don't let them slack, and don't be sending people stuff now. Just tell them it's probably not. It's gonna catch up with us if we be sending you spreadsheets. So we're not gonna send with answer questions, but do not send them your spreadsheet. Got it?
Got
Got it.
it.
All right. I'm depending on you all for that.
All right, but still, I got this question about this retained earning because all our problem, this problem 1 right here. You see how you got all our beginning account balances, and then you got that little question mark with the retained earning?
Yeah, already has that calculated.
OMG.
Huh?
I was
You
saying,
said what?
Kiana already has that calculated.
You no, I do not. I'm pulling it up right now.
Let me see if I can find this problem.
It's just the one that we going over, the financial accounting review problem. I just want to make sure, like,
Let me make the screen smaller. I can't even find it. This new system is something else. That won't let me make the screen small. Okay, maybe it is. Let it go for that. Oh, exit full screen. Okay. All right, so I've exited full screen. Camera. No, not camera. Share. Let's see. Now let me see if I can find this. Where's this problem at? See the problem. So tell me about the problem. I don't see it now.
the one that we got to do. It's the financial accounting review problem one. I just I had last semester. I had a question about the final with that, just the retained earnings being in the beginning account balances.
See if this is it. Oh, that's review problem 4. The problem. Okay, here's problem 1. So what's your question?
Just that retained earnings with the little question mark. Did you want me to figure that out
Yeah,
before I do
yeah,
everything right?
yeah. You got to put it in your beginning balance.
That's what I was confused with last time because I was trying to figure out how to figure out the retained earnings. You said, and then you said today I take my debits from my credits.
All right. So what you do is
Right?
I was gonna say, can it be a negative, right?
it can be a
If
negative.
you're
You put the debit amounts here. So I'm gonna put debit here. You put the credit over here. So all the debit amounts here, all the credit amounts here, and the difference is retained earnings.
Yeah, so when I put that into the beginning retained earnings, that's gonna be I'm gonna subtract that inside my what is it called? If we have a beginning retained earnings, that's I subtract that from what is that account called?
You're
Shoot.
not gonna do any subtraction. You're just putting the balance in, and it might be positive, it might be negative.
oh, it can be negative.
Yeah, it can be negative.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
I think we're good.
The key thing is that the debits and credits gotta equal. So
Yeah.
when you get your total, debits and credits gotta be equal.
Okay.
So that's how you would explain this next time in terms of how to get the balance.
All right. Debits and credits gotta be.
Yep, they gotta equal, and then you put these are your beginning balances for the C account.
But anytime we have the beginning retained earnings and our statement of retained earnings, we're gonna subtract this, right? Even if I have like a negative.
If if it has a debit balance, then it'll come in there as a negative. If it has a credit balance,
Okay.
it'll come in as a credit. So you just have to
Okay,
determine
that's
that. So
gonna
just
work.
make you think a little bit.
Yeah.
That actually
All right.
confused me so much on the final last. I think it took me so long to try
So I
and
was
match
saying,
it
yeah.
at
So
the end until I figured out I think this is just supposed to be a negative number.
Yeah, you can't just
you
memorize
made
stuff.
us, you always making us think.
Well, it made me confused at first because on some of the other ones, you would give us beginning balances, but the beginning balance would still match up, like it would be equal, you
Hmm.
know?
Yeah.
And then
And
when
I
it
didn't see
wasn't
that beginning
equal,
retained
it
earnings.
didn't process yet.
But
Alan,
you know
y'all
what
got,
you be doing? You be putting us, making us think outside the box.
yeah,
Me,
you got to.
you
Anybody
be
can think
making my head hurt sometimes.
You said anybody could think in the box.
yeah. Y'all ready for y'all other assignments? Project management,
Oh,
all those good things.
yeah. I'm a numbers person though, so I mean, the creative side, we'll
Then
see.
that's the management and marketing person on your team.
Hmm.
That's why you got a team. So in doing those teams, you want a accounting finance person on each team, then you want a marketing and management person on the teams also.
Hmm.
Yeah, so we gonna need that list of people,
Yeah,
everybody, and
definitely.
everybody's majors, and
Yeah, that's in Blackboard. Isn't that in Blackboard?
Uh,
like I mean, like I just want the attendance list to see who was here today. Because if they wasn't here today, they're not gonna know what we're talking about.
But in Blackboard, I think on the attendance you have teams, correct?
Let me see.
Course content, don't you have teams? And
attendance.
Oh, the team list.
yeah,
Yeah, I got the team list.
right, okay.
That's
So
just not everybody who's here though, or like some of them may not have been in
correct,
class.
correct.
Okay.
Keanu is a numbers person. I still
Oh,
see management by your major when I was looking.
I know. I'm switching it this semester though. I'm switching to finance though, just for you, Mr. Boyd.
Your mother would probably be happy you switched to accounting. Following her footsteps.
Ooh, I don't know.
Well, she worked too hard for you all. She's working hard all the time, and so you all want to
Actually, kind of.
do. You're a
But I
natural.
figured at least finance, I get a little bit of accounting, but it doesn't have to be full accounting, you know? So at least just more numbers. But
What?
Very few people can do accounting. A lot of people can do finance. So you always want to do something where there's a big shortage of people who can do it well, because
hmm.
you get paid better that way. So you have more opportunities that way.
What he's trying to say is he wants you to switch over to accounting.
Texas Southern University hires accountants, okay? A bunch of them. They don't hire any finance people. Churches hire accountants.
Oh God.
And on and on. So it's 10 it's probably 50 times more job. You'll be okay either way, don't get me wrong. But
Yeah, see,
You got
maybe.
that, Dr. Boyd. You know.
we'll see. We'll have this discussion a little bit later on as you go through and you pushing through the course. And
Hmm.
All right.
Okay.
So just to clarify, with these teams, the team leaders get to choose, but we have to write down who's gonna be where, who they choose.
right, you're gonna write it down and get it to me.
Okay.
Give Karina a good accounting person. She's marketing.
Is Karina, is that what you said?
So what?
Is Karina a good accounting person? Is that what you said?
No, I said give. She's marketing, and so I
Oh,
just good accounting person to help her.
oh yes, she's a marketing.
So
Okay. I think
as a
I'll make a group me of the
There's
leaders
a guy who
so that we can.
Okay, I was just about to say we don't need that.
whose name is Sidney Jackson. Sidney Jackson. Put him on Karina's team. He made an A, and I didn't teach him, but he made an A in principles. 'Cause I don't want her having to worry you.
Uh,
You're gonna be busy enough.
for real. Okay.
Yeah, we got to make that group chat like right now. I already got people
Mhm.
texting me.
I'm looking at the list right now to get everybody.
That sounds good. So I'll get that to you all right away. Who's in attendance today? And and so, like I said, the only ones I'm concerned with is one, and uh, because that person is not a business major even. So I want her to have a strong accounting person. And then Karina, because
Who
she's
was
part
it? You said
uh,
one,
team one.
team one. Okay.
I'm not sure she's even an accounting major. So I just want to make sure she has someone who's good. Uh, what you'd be looking at is people who are accounting majors who I didn't teach possibly. So just make sure that if the team leader is not accounting or finance, make sure they got some accounting and finance people on their team. So if they're accounting and finance, I'm not worried. But Karina, as well as Team One, they are not they're not accounting or finance majors. So I want them to have a good support person. Got it?
Mhm. Got it.
Okay.
Yes.
I think we're gonna have
All right,
fun.
Mr. Boyd.
Get ready to
We
make
gonna
y'all.
see.
You're gonna see. Yes,
Yep.
I think we'll be okay. So
I
did
think I should be.
did they tell you all how long we were gonna be online? Did they say anything?
Somebody said a professor said indefinitely.
Okay. Well,
Indefinitely.
Yeah, like somebody said they're eventually just gonna do it indefinitely. Like I'm guessing.
That's part of what I was thinking, like how in like 2020 in school it kind of started off as like 1 week, it came two, and then by the end it was like, okay, we're everything's online.
We're
Like
Yeah,
we're
so I'm guessing how are we gonna do this if it changes to online? Like how this 3D printing would work if everything is gonna be online.
I would have that guy meet with me. There's a professor who has this, and then I would have him set up meetings with teams.
Okay.
So we would do it that way. So he will, I've got an email into him. He'll probably come in and explain what he has and how it works at some point during class. And then, we'll schedule meetings with virtual meetings initially with him and the teams. And then it'll be a face to face meeting eventually with people having the appropriate type of face mask, not those little cheap blue and white ones, but the K9 ones and everything, whatever they are. So that's the other part about meeting. Everybody's got to be, wear that type of mask or,
hmm
we'll have issues.
Okay.
Because when we're meeting like this, it's not a big issue in terms of taping. But when I get over there, I can't tape. And so if a person then misses class, I don't have tapes for them. So
hmm
and if they get sick, so it can be even more difficult. So I don't know. We'll see. I was a little disappointed, but I have to do so much more prep work. I even forgot to put your all stuff in, to turn this class on. I had stuff in there, but
hmm
it's so much more work I have to do because I'm not seeing people. They got to see everything.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm looking forward to you all being good co-leaders, and making sure everybody who has their camera on pass. So if they have their camera on and working with their team, I want them to pass.
We want them to pass too.
We
All
do
right.
too.
All right.
All right. We'll
All
see you
right.
Thursday.
All right. You
See you
have a good
Thursday. You
one.
too,
Bye.
Dr. Boy. Bye.
Too. Bye.